Nate, I don't want to divulge too much, but I just want to say that you're a very skilled. You would have been one of David's mighty men. Is that fair to say? You would have been one of David's mighty men. Yeah.
Yes. If you filter out all the heathens in the ranks these days, and you talk about the elite Christians, there's a very small handful of us that got to the level that I did by God's grace. As we know, God has a path, and His path was to take me to the top amongst the most elite ranks. And one of the reasons I reached out to you, I don't have the wisdom of the pastors that you've had teed up, but I think that what God had allowed as part of my story is to be shot at. I have been shot at a bunch of times. And as I watch this, the unique maybe input that I can give as I watch this scene, and I was watching the footage. I think it is less than 45 seconds.
Can we bring it up? We're bringing it up while he's talking about footage.
Less than 45 seconds from a bullet actually connecting with him, and he collects himself and stands up and provides leadership. That cannot be faked at all. What is happening at a chemical level in his body never happened to this man before, and has not happened to the vast majority of the population. And you can see right there. So from shots ringing out, he's instructing the people around him, wait. And he provides leadership. This is not fake. You for sure cannot infer any cognitive impairment of this guy whatsoever at this point. And it's incredible to see somebody get that shot go down just like that. You see, I don't know if you guys can figure out exactly how long it is from that hits his ear. He puts his hand up because you don't necessarily know what's going on. Everybody's on top of him, just like this. Like they're just swarming him because these guys are all on the team here. I mean, I think I've seen some stuff on Twitter about how did they let this happen. I would say initially, for anybody who wants to exercise wisdom in these situations, don't go down this road. Don't start propagating. Don't start continuing to fuel any of that kind of thing. The Secret Service agents that I've had the pleasure of hanging out with, the people that make it to this level aren't fake individuals. And by and large, they cannot hold the political views that the current administration has. And they serve with dignity in no matter who is in the actual office. They are under a hierarchy. There's a position. Their job is not a political job. Their job is a technical job to provide this technical type of protection. There's not an instant hesitation here. You see how fast 5 to 10 people are. I would like to make the comment, the women that are on this detail.
Oh,
I'm
Nate.
sorry.
Nate, come on. You're going to beat me to it. Go for it.
Get them off the detail. Get them off.
Nate,
that is absolutely stupid. When she comes up here and tries to put her body over this presidential candidate,
his head is still
she does not have the physical mass to protect him.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
And that's
that's not okay.
No,
it's not okay.
It's not okay for her to be there. It's okay that she doesn't have the message. This is not your job.
It's okay. She's perfectly suited for a particular type of task. God has ordained for her. That is not it.
And one of the things that is, and here's the thing, when I saw that moment, because I saw the whole thing happen, and there was a lot of women though. When he gets to the truck, there's a lot of women there who are protecting and around the outside of the truck. I'm thinking to myself, that's not what we do with our women. That's not what we do with our women.
They aren't supposed to die.
No.
Right.
I'm supposed to die for them.
There should be, and it just, my heart sank, and I'm like,
that is not anything against that particular woman. That's not anything, but this is where we are in our culture, that we are throwing our women to shield bullets. And I think we could probably just shelf that, because there's a lot of things going on, but I couldn't let that go.
No, I couldn't.
And that's about all I got, unless you guys have any questions.
No, actually, I want your response to this video. Bring this video up. I just sent you guys over, producers. There's actually apparently a witness who informed the Secret Service that there's a guy on a roof, and they ignored him.
I saw that.
They're working on it.
Yeah, he said he was pointing him out. He's wearing a Trump visor with the hat on, and BBC, I think, was the one that was interviewing, the one I saw.
Yeah,
and that's where I saw that. He's saying, "Hey, we were having a party in the background. We saw a guy low crawling on the roof. We started yelling at it."
Nate, let's play the video real quick, and you respond.
And watch and listen to the rally. Right, we couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up. And probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking, I'm estimating here, I have no idea, but we noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle. We
could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, "Hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle." And the police were like, "Huh, what?" Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, "Hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling." And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling police in the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay,
well,
just be careful.
There you go.
Well, we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
Nate, what's your reaction to that information?
At the end of the day, I think Trump's just trying to make things better.
Nate's muted.
We had a very similar discussion about this after the Uvalde events.
Yeah.
And how I think it's very easy to sit back and armchair quarterback a live assassination attempt with multiple agencies involved, with likely different radio channels, and immediately start spinning this as they knew it and they let it happen. In some sense, like that's it. I kind of like, obviously that guy wasn't spinning it that way, but it's you can be on the ground and have a very specific vantage point. And when they said, "Hey, could they have seen him from their vantage point?" I don't think so, because the way the roof is. Why was it not all? It's like, yeah, of course. Why was there not somebody on the roof that the shooter was on after it's already happened? When you're sitting there with your friends in a beer and you just happen to be in the spot that you can see this happen. Doesn't mean anything conclusive, but I just, from my having been a part of complex operations with multiple agencies, with multiple different people, with different levels of training, all the way down to regular Army, all the way up to special operations troops. Like it can get confusing on the battlefield, let alone in suburban America, to the point where you just don't you can't sit there and say from that vantage point and infer anything, except for it's a very difficult situation to try to, in a wide open field like that. I pulled the imagery up. Looks like that the shooter was about 525 feet away. It's kind of hard to get oriented perfectly on Google Maps right now. I've kind of been doing some street view analysis, just like I did in the Uvalde. So obviously a pretty short shot for a guy with a rifle. To make a headshot from 100 yards, more difficult than but anyway, that's my feedback on that.
So 500 feet would be about 200-ish yards.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yep.
How skillful is that shot? Because and I would say two things here, Nate. The skillfulness of the shot, but also it sounded like I counted at least 11 bullets were fired.
Mm.
I don't know if you tried to count, but it seemed like a lot of shots went off.
Yeah, and I guess at that point when that guy's account of it is that they immediately killed him. So if you're hearing 11 shots, I'm thinking that you're hearing the return shots as well. I haven't actually sat and watched the thing front to back and counted shots.
Yeah, there's a fire there. You can hear that.
Was that?
It sounded like some return fire happening.
Can we play?
Yeah.
Nate, I
like his reaction to the shooting, to the live shooting.
Yeah, but Nate, there's something that you said. If you guys can find that and pull up the live shooting, that's fine. That's be great. But Nate, you said something that really made me, because of
So there's the Google map. Here's a shot of the Google map.
Yeah, and so the shooter would have been on that building back there, Nate. Is that what we're looking at? Is that where?
Yeah. Again, I was trying to. That's what's coming up from people. But again, I was getting on Street View trying to actually for sure. That's where his podium was set up. That's where the roof is. I mean, that's the initial kind of assessment, but we don't know for sure. It's kind of hard to decipher. I was still in the middle of looking that through, but it's a pretty, for somebody who is sniper, has sniper experience or whatever, 125 meter shot is basically like shooting 3 yards with a pistol. Like that's an easy prone rifle shot to make. But that being said, this was likely the most significant and from the shooter's perspective shot to make too. There's a lot going on that side too. So the fact that, and then the pastors have already spoke about the divine author. So the fact that this is potentially a very easy shot for this individual misses, obviously pretty dang close. But yes.
Nate, feel free to stick around, but I really want to go back to something you said in the beginning that I thought was absolutely great analysis. And it's the way that you talked about how, listen, I've been shot at. Let me tell you what type of refrain you have to act like that. And there's a couple questions start running through my head, like, where did he get that refrain? Does he just understand the moment so well? Like, or is he like so in this that undeniably he's like, you are not going to take me out. We are going to fight. I mean, like that, everything about courage and my excitement and like, you can't do this to us. All of my American pride came out in that moment. And I couldn't even fight it. It was almost like somebody, if you cut off my finger and I started crying, that's just a natural reaction. Everything that I love about my country came out of me in that moment. And I was like a little boy cheering for his favorite like heroes and like, yeah, let's go. And I found myself turned up, but you're right. I've had guns pulled out, been at gunpoint, looked down the barrel. And I know that my reactions until I trained myself was to freeze or not to move. Like people don't understand, you're right, how much courage that takes in the moment to act like that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody operates at a certain combination, a certain pH, the homeostasis that you're operating. And so no doubt he has been in tough situations before. No doubt that he's spoken to millions. So his body functions at a completely different chemical level than what you or I would function at in a normal circumstance. So for sure, he has trained himself to function under pressure, but this is a completely different kind of pressure, as I was saying in the beginning, that he's ever faced before. He stayed down, he collected himself, he's speaking to his detail, he's throwing out a fist pump. I mean, this is Teddy Roosevelt type stuff. And I'm going to go speak right away. I'm going to go to my next speech. I'm not going to stop, kind of stuff. And it's amazing. All the other sides, all the other facets of him that makes him polarizing, and the complexity that of who he is as a person aside, in this particular moment where he's been shot, he's very rapidly collecting himself and he's throwing out the fist is remarkable.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you comment, subscribe, hit the bell, share the show, and go to fightlaughfeast.com or join the pub at flfpub.com.